o'clock news.
Good evening and thanks for joining us this Wednesday night. I'm Tim McGonigal.
And I'm Keely Van Mittendorf, beginning this evening on the campaign trail after news broke Tuesday.
Presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden formally introduced his running mate, Senator Kamala Harris, at an event in Wilmington, Delaware today. Harris had her own run at the president, but eventually dropped out of the race months after they clashed. During the Democratic primary debates, Harris praised the former vice president and his record today. The California senator, a former prosecutor and state attorney general, and Biden both took aim at President Trump, especially over his handling of the pandemic. The California senator makes history by being the first black woman to compete on a major party's presidential ticket. And here at home, Governor Steve Bullock expanded his face mask directive to include public and private schools in counties that have at least 4 active cases of COVID-19.
He also implored Montanans to follow public health directives, saying it's the only way to get this virus under control. The governor said as Montana schools attempt to reopen in just a few weeks, some are considering whether to require or just strongly encourage people to wear face coverings at school. He says strongly encouraging isn't enough, so it will be a requirement in hard-hit counties. 27 counties currently have at least 4 active COVID-19 cases. He also announced some new business assistance programs, including ones to help live entertainment venues and businesses near the east entrance of Glacier National Park. And finally, the governor said the only way to get the virus under control now is to follow public health guidelines and directives, and that many Montanans are not doing that.
Take that personal responsibility to carry a mask with you. And mask up when you go to the grocery store, to grab a beer at the brewery, or participate in a gathering, even if it's outdoors. Be mindful of the most vulnerable around you and be extra cautious in how your behavior may impact those more susceptible to severe illness from this virus.
And the nearly 180 new cases reported in Montana today is one of the highest we've seen. A big jump in active hospitalizations today at with 97. We're at 80 deaths statewide and over 1,400 active cases. Well, 4 soldiers at the Montana Army National Guard base outside of Helena have tested positive for COVID-19. They were part of the same flight crew. Master Sergeant Michael Touchette told MTN contact tracing also identified 17 other people who came into contact with the infected guardsmen over the past 2 weeks. All those tests came back negative, but a few of those people have been recommended to quarantine by the Lewis and Clark County Health Department.
And tonight we're learning about a positive COVID test at the Goldstone Assisted Living Facility. We're still trying to get clarification on a couple of things, but here's what we know right now. We're told in June, staff and residents at the facility were tested and all tests came back negative. A month later, on July 28th, a resident was hospitalized and tested positive. Immediately, the Goldstone implemented quarantine measures for all staff and residents and scheduled testing for all. Residents and staff will continue to be tested weekly going forward. Influenza vaccines have begun appearing at pharmacies in Montana. With no immediate end in sight for the COVID-19 pandemic, health experts say it's more important than ever to get your flu shot this year. The Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services are recommending the general public to get an influenza vaccine during September or October this year and not wait until flu season arrives. Any flu season has the chance of stressing the healthcare system with related hospitalizations. Combined with COVID-19, it could overburden hospitals and other healthcare workers currently responding to COVID.
It's going to be really important this year, as we move into a flu season where we're really trying to protect ourselves, but more importantly, getting a flu vaccine can help protect those around us. And so I would encourage everyone to do it, even if you feel like you don't get sick every year or you've never had the flu. Consider those around you and taking that flu vaccine to help protect everyone else.
DPHHS says anyone over 6 months old should get their flu shot this year if they're able. The state provides assistance for qualifying families to get children vaccinated at no cost. Switching gears now, it was a windy day across the state causing fire concerns. Our Storm Tracker weather team is here to tell us more. For the latest, let's send it over to Grant Garland.
All right, well, good evening, Tim, and good evening, everybody. We did have a very windy day across the Treasure State. 37-mile-per-hour winds. That's what we saw here in the Electric City. 30 down towards Helena, 35 out in Lewistown. Just all in all, a breezy day. Now, currently, we are seeing 9-mile-per-hour winds in Great Falls, 5 in Helena as well as Lewistown, and 14 up in Cut Bank. Take a look outside with me, if you will. Doesn't it look all nice and peaceful? Yeah, it does. Temperature 64 degrees. We are picking up a few raindrops at the moment. Elsewhere at some of our other locations here in the Electric City, 61, 64 in Lewistown, 77 though still in Jordan, and 78 in Glasgow. As we see, we are looking at just a few light raindrops falling. It has been very dry today, so for the fact that they're able to fall, that's always good news. Tonight, temperatures falling down to around 52 degrees with only an isolated chance for a shower or two. Overall, temperatures falling down to around 46 in Choteau, 53 in Hayes, and 57 in Malta. Now, temperatures are cooling down for a great end to the work week. We'll talk about all that and more coming up, but for now, back to you.
Thanks, Grant. Well, 38 abused horses that were set to be slaughtered got a new lease on life today at an auction in Vaughan.
In July, those horses were seized from an abusive owner in Choteau County. Today, horse rescue groups and private donors came to the rescue. MTN's Zach Shermley was there.
In Vaughan today, horses in trouble and humans to the rescue. The fate of 38 abused horses was decided at Western Livestock Auctions. In July, the horses and 15 goats were seized from a woman in Choteau County who was charged with 3 counts of felony aggravated animal cruelty.
She had to turn over possession of all of her livestock to the counties. She's not to own, possess, care for, transport livestock for the next 5 years.
According to court documents, the animals were found in poor condition with inadequate food, water, and space. One of the horses was found suffering from severe facial paralysis. If a new owner didn't come forward,
the end result for these guys, if we aren't able to rescue them and buy them from this auction, is a trip down the road to Shelby and an immediate trip to Canada on an uncomfortable truck to be slaughtered.
It was a reality that Dania Logan Young, president and founder of the horse rescue group Hooves of Promise, just couldn't stomach. Now, Western Livestock Auctions has a policy that does not allow for filming inside the building. The general manager here telling us today that we weren't even allowed in the facility, but bidders in the auction right now are telling MTN News that those horses are still not in good condition and that this is not an isolated incident. Weeks before the auction, horse rescue groups across the region started reaching out to private donors to pony up the money. But because of the pandemic, many horse rescue groups have been strapped for cash.
It's been very hard. Donations have trickled down to, just a few $100s a month.
But today they lucked out.
It went great. Apparently, it was fast and furious. There were lots of private buyers, and we're so thankful for that. We're just so thankful for everybody showing up and being there for these horses.
Every horse found a home.
38 horses got homes that otherwise would have gone slaughtered today, and I cannot tell you how happy I am.
In Vaughan, Zach Shermley, MTN News.
One of the last photos you saw there was sent to MTN by Corey Chafin, who told us his daughters immediately named the horse Pegasus. All the horses will now have to quarantine for 2 weeks before settling in with their new owners. Coming up next on the 10 o'clock news, Montana barley growers are working hard to make sure your beer is refreshing.
An update on their harvesting efforts after the break.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
And welcome back. It's harvest time across our region, and as the Montana Ag Network's Russell Nimitz shares, Molson Coors barley growers are harvesting another high-quality crop in Montana and northern Wyoming.
This year, Montana and Wyoming barley growers planted approximately 100,000 acres of barley for Molson Coors. Mike Killen is their agronomist for southern Montana and says this year's barley crop has been another dandy.
Really, it's been remarkable quality barley, very plump and high test weight, really hardly any issues. Had some higher protein in some hailed areas and whatnot, but overall it's just an exceptional crop, which was a nice reprieve versus what we've kind of went through the last couple of years with with weather events and whatnot at harvest.
He says growers are still planting a Moravian barley variety, just a newer version named after a very important person for the Molson Coors barley program.
So right now in all of the irrigated acres in Montana as well as Wyoming, we're raising a variety called Bill Coors 100. It is a Moravian variety like we always have raised here, but it's got some real great qualities around plumpness, and we're very proud of it. We've had it here in Montana for about 4 years, and I think it's going to be here for several more.
And despite this year's COVID-19 challenges, Mike says Molson Coors honored its barley contracts with growers, which continues to show the company's support for this region's agriculture industry.
So yeah, we were happy. We contracted last fall before COVID even was a real thing, but we feel really good about where we're at with barley inventories and beer sales, and so we're honoring that contract and bringing in every pound of barley that we contracted to do so.
So as Molson Coors growers deliver another high-quality barley crop during this year's harvest, it's important to note that there's still a little bit of this high country barley in every Coors Original and Coors Light. In Huntley, Russell Nemitz, MTN News.
Thanks, Russell. Well, across colleges here in Montana, students are gathering to move in for what promises to be an unusual fall semester.
In Bozeman, the students moved in for the third day on MSU's campus. So far, officials say things have been going according to plan. Though the semester hasn't officially started yet, MSU President Dr. Waded Cruzado said she's hopeful students and faculty will be able to get through the semester, but they are ready for unfavorable possibilities as well.
We have set aside special units for quarantine. So what we will do in that case is that the student will be relocated from the residence life here or his or her unit to a separate location.
Students will be able to move onto campus up until Sunday, August 16th.
And the University of Montana was buzzing today as students began moving back to campus for the fall semester. The bunk beds and the beanbags are still making appearances, but as expected, move-in day looked a little different this year. Throughout the coming week, almost 1,300 students will set up camp in one of UM's 8 residence halls. The density on each of the floors will be reduced. A floor that has capacity to hold 40 students will house 30 this year. Cleaning protocols will have extra attention, and students will slowly work their way onto campus in a staggered check-in format until classes begin next Wednesday. The university did not have to turn anyone away from living on campus this year and has extra space set aside for students who may need to quarantine.
Students will be back in class at Carroll College next week. The university is taking steps to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in residence halls and classrooms. MTN's Alexia Aguayo shows us what's new for students.
These tents represent one of 2 testing centers on Carroll College for students to be tested for COVID-19. It is one of many changes the college has implemented as fall classes begin next week. One difference is that all students coming to campus must be tested.
We are seeing a nice 24 to 48 hour turnaround on those tests that we've turned in thus far. And so that's a key part of the move-in process for everybody this year. Our off-campus students can also access testing by coming to one of the testing centers.
Faculty and staff can also be tested through their healthcare provider. There are also new isolation rooms across the campus to house any student that tests positive.
We have rooms set aside so that if a student was positive and they needed to go into isolation, we could go ahead and move them into that facility that has, all of the things that they would need to take care of themselves. They would have their food service provided for them. And most importantly, that they can actually then get in contact with their faculty members, and our faculty members are helped to start working with them right away so that they don't miss academic time.
Classrooms will also look different. Each room will be at half capacity, socially distanced, and cleaned in between each use by faculty and staff. Masks are required upon entering any building on campus.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're not flexible, you're just not going to make it this fall. So we're doing our best right now.
Some students have already moved into the dorms and apartments at Carroll College. This weekend, incoming freshmen will have that opportunity. Only 15 students are allowed to move in at one time. In Helena, I'm Alexia Aguayo, MTN News.
And in Great Falls, a music and fine arts organization is is expanding to offer parents more learning options in all areas. The Bays-Clef School of Music and Fine Arts started 5 years ago in Great Falls. Now the school plans to add full kindergarten through 12th grade academic curriculum. Owner Timothy Bass said some parents are anxious about sending their kids to packed classrooms and wanted to provide an option for easier social distancing. Tuition for the school year ranges from about $4,000 to $6,000 depending on grade level, and Bass is expecting low enrollment numbers for the first year. The school is not accredited with the state of Montana, and Bass said that classes like English, math, social studies, and sciences will be offered through the organization's K through 12 and STEM Fuse.
They'll get music, art, dance, and theater. It'll all be part of the curriculum. So they get a well-rounded amount of the fine arts. And then, of course, they're always welcome to take additional classes or lessons.
And there will be an open house and art auction for prospective students and families to see the space this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Well, as we walk out our doors tomorrow morning around 7 a.m., temperatures are going to be right around 51 degrees, warming up to 71 by 1 p.m. Don't go away. Your 7-day forecast is coming up next.
Storm Tracker weather starts now with Grant Garland.
Oh, welcome back. I hope you're having as much laughs as we are behind the scenes. 85 degrees, that was our high today in Lewistown, 89 in Bozeman, 86 in Helena, and 84 in Great Falls. But the further east you went out, you were looking at the upper 90s, 98 in Glasgow and 99 in Jordan. Now, today we did get, we got close to our average, right around 84. The record set back in 1940 when it was 105 degrees. That was also the year that Pinocchio was released, Disney's Pinocchio as well as Fantasia. Temperatures right now, though, 61 degrees in Great Falls, 66 in Helena, 64 in Lewistown, and out towards Glasgow looking at the upper 70s, around 78 degrees. Our winds aren't as bad as what we were seeing earlier. We're looking at 14-mile-per-hour winds in Cutbank, 9 in Great Falls, 5 in Helena, and looking at 16 in Jordan. We did see a wind gust at around 37 miles an hour today here in the Electric City. Head on down to the capital around 30, 28 up towards Glasgow, and 35 in Lewistown. A very breezy day that didn't help our situations with being under a red flag warning, which thankfully has now been lifted. Over the last 3 hours, though, we have been looking at a few periods of showers trying to fall. Now, is the rain actually making it to the ground? I don't know because of how dry it has actually been, but we are looking at kind of several little pockets here and there with partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. As we head into tomorrow, we are going to be looking at partly sunny to mostly cloudy skies again. We are expecting no cooler temperatures for the next 3 days. It will be really, really nice. But then Sunday onward, we're going to be looking at those hot temperatures where we're seeing 94 degrees on Monday, a very, very hot start to our work week. Now tomorrow, even though we aren't looking at the kind of conditions we are today, there are still a couple of areas that are looking at elevated chances for fire weather, with the main risk staying down towards Idaho as well as Wyoming. As far as our winds gusting, well, we are going to be looking between 10 to 20 miles an hour. So nothing, out of the ordinary for us. But at least we're not going to be seeing 30 plus miles an hour as that we did today. Over the next couple of hours, a cold front will continue to slide down to the south. As it does so, we will start to see kind of a breaking uptrend for our clouds. However, though, going throughout the day tomorrow, they come back into play. High pressure also strengthens in Canada before it starts to make its way down towards Great Falls. And as that happens, we'll see a drying trend, continuation of that rather. But also our clouds will break apart for a really nice and beautiful day on Friday as the high pressure starts to make its way towards the middle part of Montana. As far as how dry we're going to be tomorrow, well, that's going to be in the afternoon right around 4:30 where we're seeing 20% humidity. We are expected to stay not only warmer because of the surge in warm temperatures for next week, but also we're going to continue with the probability of staying drier than the average too. You can always stay weather aware by following me on social media, meteorologist Grant Garland on Facebook, as well as downloading that free KRTV app. It is free and ever present. 50 degrees tonight in Lewistown, 52 in Great Falls, 44 though out towards Cutbank. You might need to have a light jacket as you wake up tomorrow morning. For us here in Great Falls, temperatures are going to be right around 51 degrees as you walk out the door. 81 overall tomorrow in Great Falls as well as Helena, 75 in Lewistown, 80 in Havre, and 83 in Glasgow. As we head throughout the next couple of days, we're going to see the sun come back to play. 79 degrees, nice and sunny on Friday. Beautiful weekend ahead though, so if you have plans to go out on the river, I'd say take your chance and do it. Tim?
Thanks, Grant. Well, they may be small, but they're making some big waves in the BMX world.
Meet the pint-sized bike racers next.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Well, two southwestern Montana sisters are climbing the ranks of the BMX world.
MTN's John Miller has their story.
I'm here at Westlake BMX Park where two sisters are making a dent in the BMX world. Riders ready? Watch the gate. Go! Hey. Meet the Burrian sisters.
When my head hits the pill, I'm just like, that's her.
They love BMX.
I just like the feeling. I like how it can get you stronger. You get to travel all over the world, at least we get to, and race some new people.
The oldest, Landon, who is 10 years old, is ranked #1 for her age group. She started BMXing when she was 5.
Annoying. But I do kind of love her.
Her younger 9-year-old sister is ranked 6th for hers. She started when she was 4.
Landon saw these bikers in the Sweet Peaks Parade and she wanted to try it. Then I wanted to try it and we've just been doing it ever since.
Being close in age and both ranked nationally, that brings the best out of both of them on the track.
It's like in Cruiser, I almost beat her because I want to beat her really bad, but she doesn't want to be beat by me. So it pushed us even harder so we could try to keep beating each other.
Last week we were at a race. Little Chase beat Landon out of the gate, so Landon pushed her off of turn 1. Like, they don't care. They will bash each other, and then they wait at the finish line to see if they're okay.
Despite their mutual love for BMX, they couldn't be more different.
I think since we're not sisters, alike in many other things. We may look alike, but we're not alike. Yeah. She's always spending like 10 minutes in her room getting ready.
Which Chase describes her sister as the opposite.
Get out, sweatpants, and a shirt, and then I'm ready.
It's pretty fun to see them be completely different little humans and still the best of friends.
That could change a little bit if Chase ever wins.
Chase has never gotten the win, so it'll be interesting the day that it happens.
In Bozeman, John Miller, MTN Sports.
Thanks, John, and don't go away. We'll be right back.
Well, temperatures tonight falling down to 52 in Great Falls, 53 in Hayes, and 50 in Lewistown. As you walk out the door tomorrow, 51 degrees. It will be mostly sunny at that point, but clouds will build in. Overall, 79 degrees on Friday, 84 on Saturday. It will be a beautiful weekend, so please get out and enjoy the outdoors. And, temperatures also won't feel that bad.
Well, the Fresh Prince appears ready to make a comeback, but not in the way you might expect. A reboot of the popular 90s sitcom will come back as a drama.
It will still feature a teen who moves in with his wealthy aunt and uncle, but will take on more serious storylines. No word on when the first episodes will come out.
Will Smith, Quincy Jones, and the show's original creators will serve as executive producers of the new show. There's also no word on who may play the title role. I think Grant Garland would be perfect for that role.
I like it, Grant. I can see I like it.
That's all the time we have tonight at 10.
Good night.